Hey. Can you guys hear me? Make sure there's no double audio. Which it actually seems like there may be. Test. Test. Okay, I think we're getting the hang of this. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Ernest, aka True Wendigo, coming at you live and direct. Had a little technical difficulties. Still getting used to using this XSplit software for streaming, but we're slowly getting there. So, I wanted to. First of all, let me tell you guys that our drink for the night is Henny and ginger ale. It never fails, Henny and ginger ale. So I want to take the time because it is a new year. I want to go over some of the plans and ideas that we have for the future. See where Political Blackout's going to go. Also give you guys kind of a quick rundown of how we got to where we are. Because man, the last year has been a ride, and the page hasn't even been up for barely a year, and at this point we're almost at 1,000. We're right on the edge of 1,000 followers, which is really good. The way I see it is, if we can actually start producing content from this point forward, then we're going to see that multiply drastically. So I wanted to kind of go over some things that we've got going on, or plans that we have for the future. Also, possibly get a call to arms for anybody that's actually interested in joining. We right now currently have a bunch of different either social media accounts or ideas, websites, YouTube channel, things like that. So if anybody's interested in those kind of things, I'll kind of get into that as we go on. But first of all, just want to say Happy New Year's to everybody. Man, it's been great. It's been great. We've been getting a lot of new followers in a very, very short period of time. And it's a great blessing. So thank you guys for that. And now we're going to try to figure out what we're going to do with it going forward. So I hope after this video is posted in full that we can go ahead and get some of you guys, people that have been around us or with us longest, give us your 2 cents on what you think we might want to do in the future. Really to set us apart, different than the other channels that are already out there. Because right now you do have your bigger names, your Steven Crowders, Ben Shapiro's, the guys like that. So, and they seem to have a certain system already in play. So we're trying to figure out how exactly can we break the mold. Of course, we can't just play to the whole tribalistic minority side of things. But we really want to try to do something different with Political Blackout going forward. So, I mean, there's a few areas we're actually interested in. So just to give you guys a quick rundown of how we started. So a few years back, I used to get a lot of trouble on Facebook for posting opinions, sometimes just philosophical conversations, just to really, get either people's brains thinking or to, let's be honest, to start firestorms, because I really found it enjoyable. Now, granted, most of the people that follow me on Facebook didn't really find it all too enjoyable. And well, the vast majority of them are gone. Self-weeding process, I guess. But so mostly political or religious topics, which of course are going to, bring on the heat, especially on the internet. And for a while, I started noticing my following starting to get pretty large there for a while. But as I started to grow up a little bit more, started to engage less in kind of useless debates. I started to also, in like kind, worry about my future, because one thing I've learned recently, or rather over the last few years, is that when you start to piss off people on the left, it's not an agree to disagree situation. They're in it to probably try to destroy you at some point. So I had to then privatize my page. And when I finally privatized my page, the following started to drop drastically. So, I mean, which was fine. I mean, I started working for a Fortune 500 company. I was worried about my job, future, things like that. So I started to not post as, let's say, truthful messages as I once did. I remember when they got a lot of heat. It was just a philosophical debate, and I was, to be honest, I was playing devil's advocate, something like, why is it okay to hit children but not hit women? Believe me, that they got people pretty upset. But again, it was just philosophical conversation, not one way or another, but that's just typically how I did things. But one thing's for sure is that during this time, you feel set apart, unique. You feel lonely, really, really alone. You're often this vast sea of the interwebs on your own, and you don't really have too many people to connect with if you are like myself. So years go by, and I run into a post from somebody I completely forgot that I even actually was following for a while. And most of you guys already know Leandre Spook Williams McBride. Like reading some of his posts kind of got the spark going again. And I was like, man, this guy is doing some of the same exact stuff that I used to do. He got viral a few times and got a lot of nice hits and got a lot of people pissed off at him. All the right people. Oh man, hey, engine derail. So after some time, I reached out to him, and we started chatting a bit and realizing, I think one of the first things he said to me is like, holy crap, there's actually more of us out there. And that really started to get me thinking about how I want Political Blackout to proceed from this point further. Is that while me and him were chatting, I mean, he has one of the largest followings that I know. And even he felt alone in this, crazy leftist internet world. So I was like, well, it got my sparks going, creative juices flowing again. And then I publicized my page again. And not too soon after, I started to realize that there were a bunch of, I guess you can almost say like small pillars in the internet community on Facebook that have all unique followings of their own. Some of them recently got larger, like, Eric July and stuff like that. I mean, his channel, his Facebook page is doing really well. But then there are smaller guys, but they still have a substantial following. And there's a lot of crossover and, bleed from one to other. So, for example, like my boy Jax, or Jax Josh is, I think, his primary page. Leandre, Charlie Delta, those guys, I started to notice that there's a circle that if you follow any one of those guys, more than likely you're gonna meet with one or two or three or four of them. And as that started to grow and I started kind of getting a little bit more involved, again, I started to notice that there was a circle, but all of these guys, for the most part, kind of, they planted their flag, and there wasn't much crossover between them. So in a sense, they were almost too individualistic because, let's just say they're fighting a good fight, but there was no team. There was no team ethic behind it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to bring to the table with Political Blackout. So if you guys have followed them, you probably know Janelle and her husband, Janelle Bates, with Red River. Love those guys over there. And you can see there's this circle. Marquise Young, another fine example. Guy's gone nearly viral, has a ton of followers on Facebook. But just like the other set of guys and gals, they're kind of off in their own little corner. And what I would like to do with Political Blackout is trying to bring everything under one umbrella. So that would be kind of the ultimate goal going forward. So if it can be done correctly, everyone would still have, of course, their own, their own market, their own names and whatnot, but using Political Blackout as a hub to bring a bunch of those like-minded individuals together, which in this case seems to be in a very large case seems to be minority individuals. So that was the plan. So after chatting with Leandre for a little bit, we were like, hey, let's go ahead and try to get a few of these people together and see if we can actually have a conversation about trying to do things for the future, which, by the way, is really hard when you're talking about possibly 8 to 10 people and 8 different time zones. But be that as it may, that is kind of one of our goals going forward. So if you say what our ultimate goal is, I would like to actually try to fill the gap of something like a Rebel Media, almost kind of our version of like a Rebel Media. We do have people that are very gung-ho and follow us quite a bit and are very interested in different countries, like and we try to promote them when we get stuff from them. For example, like Daisy Cousins, if you haven't followed Daisy's amazing, down in Australia. We have another friend of ours who right now, because she works in the liberal land called acting, we can't really disclose too much about her, but she lives in London. But we're starting to notice that a small little coalition is starting to form. And now it's just more about trying to bring some of those heads together and try to create content that hopefully, people actually like, that will drive us forward. But again, it seems to be working so far. We're almost at 1,000 right now, and that's only going to multiply, hopefully, as we can start producing content going forward. So you guys will start to see more of me because I tend to do most of the works. But I'd also like to take the time to, put out a call to action. If anybody is interested in joining, if you can write, right now, just to give you a rundown of what we have. Currently, we have a Twitter account. Minds.com is really what we like to use. It's an alternative to Twitter. Great site. They have a monetization system built in, nice little point system. You actually get bonuses on there for producing content. We do have a YouTube channel. We're going to try to start using that more often as I post things to hopefully as I'm posting the same things, it will both be going to both YouTube and Facebook. We have the Minds.com account. We have the YouTube right now. At least these are the things that we have signed. We just have to build up the viewership in order to kind of get those things going. The website, www.politicalblackout.com. We got to start getting some writers in for people that are interested in, putting out regular things. And right now, not much, probably maybe, once a week kind of deal. So if we can actually get something like that, that'd be pretty nice. Let's see what else we got right now. Of course, there's the Facebook. Facebook, of course, plays a big role in this. So more or less, this is us trying to figure out what we're going to do going forward. And I figured that the best way to actually do that would be to talk to the people that actually have been following us for the last few years and trying to get a idea or feel of what exactly you guys might want us to do going forward. Now, one thing I can say for sure, two things at the top of my list, that it should be fairly easy for roles to actually fill out. And that would be content creators for the website, so people that are willing to write, and the YouTube, so doing videos and stuff like that. I'm pretty good at, for the most part, doing video editing, things like that. If you see some of the stupid clips, 9 times out of 10, I probably chop them up in Premiere. So going forward, you're going to try to start seeing more stuff like that, and hopefully that'll be a way to actually start building revenue. We do currently have a small shop set up on Cafe Press, which I do plan to take down at some point. That Cafe Press site will be used when we do take it down. I'm going to be looking for someone more local, a cheaper option in order for us to produce apparel. So things like shirts, mugs, hats, things like that. Now, I know we're not large enough to actually really be selling that stuff, but the way I figure it doesn't really take much to create it now. So why not go ahead and just, knock those things out. So it's one less thing we have to worry about going forward. So if there's 2 things that I'm really interested in having, is someone that's capable of doing some level of graphic designing, and someone that is good with writing. Because I can write, but I do have I'm horrible with grammar. So maybe if I can write, if I had an editor on the back end, it wouldn't be such a big deal. With that, now that considering that we're starting to gain a pretty quick following in a very short period of time, again, considering the site, the page hasn't even been up for about a year. Now it's time for us to ring in 2018 with content and original content, because we are doing what a lot of other people are doing, and we're sharing stuff from Daily Wire, we're sharing stuff from Louder Crowder and all those guys, which is all nice and good. I do like to promote those guys too, but it's time that we start to produce our own, which is why I'm trying to build a team. And it's hard work. Not gonna lie, but I honestly think that we might have something that's unique going forward, considering right now our moniker is kind of collecting unicorns. So if you feel that you are a unicorn and you are interested in doing something with us in the future, then, don't hesitate to reach out, send a message. People say, well, as it is, people already send us messages, and we thank you guys that do. It does give us something to look at, articles, sites, videos. If you got a street team, it's really hard to take two. It's easy to miss out on things when you're just one person, because of course, still working, right? You got to have a 9 to 5 and still try to find a way to build this in the meantime. Could be a daunting task. So trying to build that team so things get a little bit more easy on everybody. So again, the two things we're kind of looking out for right now, the website, because the way Google and YouTube work right now is that until you have enough views, that you can't monetize yet. So for example, let's take YouTube. You can't initially monetize videos if you open a YouTube channel. It doesn't work like that anymore. You have to have enough views and subscriptions first before YouTube allows you to monetize your videos. So if the goal is to try and bring in some money, because right now, if I'm asking someone to write for us, you're getting nothing. You're writing for the sole purpose of making an investment, hopefully, in the group going forward. But right now there is nothing. We're broke. So just to get myself, Leandre, for example, a mic, a good streaming camera. Dre needs some more hardware, for example. It of course involves money. It involves time, and I'm on the East Coast, so I'm in North Carolina, and Dre is in California. So of course we got a time zone difference, we got a money difference. He has a family, so trying to bring this together and create this team is a little harsh work. So trying to now kind of get out there and get other people interested. Let's see, Amanda, would you say I'm definitely interested in writing? You know what? If you are, then send us a message, because I am, again, my grammar is horrible. Public school education. And Henny and ginger ale, by the way. Delicious mix if you haven't tried it. And I know there's quite a few people that already follow us that try to help us out, but I think it's probably about time, starting with 2018, to bring the call to arms. So right now, I think, let's see, other than that, we do have a donation system set up. That's going to start popping up more as we get as we start to get more content out there. Hopefully we're just going to be doing free content. Hopefully start getting people interested enough to actually want to do that. Then of course, there's going to be the apparel that's going to come in the near future. We do have one thing that's on the docket, which is really interesting, is that the Brexit Brewing Company, a friend of ours, I told you guys, lives in Australia. I mean, not Australia, she lives in London, different person, is connected with a company that's coming out with the article, what is it called? Article 15? Anyways, the Brexit Brewing Company. So they're going to be coming out with a Brexit beer. And hopefully we will be the first people in the States to have it. So if so, it'd be pretty cool to actually have us rocking the Brexit beer, while doing our videos, and be the first people in the country to actually have it. You should accept donations too. Actually, well, we do accept donations right now. The only donation link is set up is on the Facebook page on the left. I think it actually says donate. It is a PayPal account. We were thinking about doing a Patreon. We're just not there yet, and that's more work to have to build up. So once we get there, we probably have the Patreon. But PayPal right now is a good, clean, easy option, and it doesn't really involve much work outside of that. We say, Craig, I just stepped in. Do you guys have email contact? Yes, we do have an email set up. Right now we're using Gmail. There's one thing I learned about the Hillary scandal is if she would have had her stuff on probably a larger scale email server like a Google, her shit probably wouldn't have been leaked. But, you know, in all honesty, right now, I trust having we do, by the way, Craig, we do actually have an email set up through the domain, the @politicalblackout.com, but we don't use it. I actually would rather trust our email to Google, surprisingly, than I do the private server. I think there's a little more, I think clearly there's probably more security on the Google end. It'd be harder for them to get into that than it would be anything else. So yeah, we do have an email, but right now I would recommend that if you guys do want to send messages to us, it's best that you send them to the Facebook page, because I have myself and Dre are set up as admins on the Facebook page. But I think we have just below that, there's one tier down from that in terms of privileges and rights. And everyone that's currently on the Political Blackout team can see the messages and can respond to them. So it would probably be best if you send messages to that, because everyone right now has access. Everyone that's on the team has access to that function on Facebook, whereas only 2 of us can access the Political Blackout Gmail account. And we had to make that, of course, so that we could have the YouTube channel and have that, all conjoined and whatnot. But so yeah, other things. Let's see, other things we got planned. Some stupid skits. One recent one we were working on is I'm trying to remember how to explain this best, but it was the cognitive dissonance conversations of the left. So one was going to be a stupid video where we try to seriously tackle both the left's insistent need to say things like this country is being ran by fascists and Nazis, but on the same token, they're the same people that are saying things like ban all the guns. So we wanted to do a few just kind of quick little dumb clips where we're doing stupid stuff like, hey guys, man, this country sure is full of a bunch of Nazi fascists, but you know what? I got a great idea. Best way we could fight them, turn in all your guns. That'll teach them. Little stupid stuff like that. Because those are real conversations that probably most of us have heard, which don't seem to make sense. But I figure why not actually have a little fun with those, make some videos dealing with topics like that. And of course, the topical stuff. Let's see, what else do we have? More meetups in the future, hopefully. Getting to run into and meet some of the guys. Meeting Robert was nice. Sadly, didn't get a chance to meet Jax. He's kind of a catfish. He's lame. Fake. Lazy. Black. I mean, CPT is real, but hey, the guy slept the whole day. It's cool. It's cool, Jax. It's whatever. I got you, bro. I got you. So yeah, so just to give you guys an idea of what we got going forward, if anybody has any ideas, send them over, send some messages. We're going to try and do, really this hopefully will be the year of content creation. Hopefully this will be the year of content creation. We really need to step our game up. Hopefully I can start getting a fire lit into this team. You're going to start seeing more of these guys popping up. We tend to know, for example, actually I'll use Craig as an example. If you go to Craig's page, just to give you an example of the circle, you go to his page and you look at his friends list, he already pretty much has the circle intact. My job is to sort of figure out how to bring that all together under one umbrella. He seems to know all the right people. So if you just want an example of what I'm talking about, you'll find that a circle has formed. So if you're talking Leandre, Charlie Delta, Madison, Leandre, myself, Janelle and her husband, there seems to be a pretty solid circle forming, and they all seem to have their own little niche. Now we're just trying to find a way to bridge all of that and hopefully bring it under one umbrella, because there's a lot of power in that. There's one thing that the left's learned to capitalize on that the right tends to try to stay away from, but sadly they're just as tribal, but they don't want to think that they are. Tribalism. People like to think it's a bad word. I don't think it's a bad word. I think it's a tool like any other thing. And just like any other thing, you can use the shovel to, dig ditches, or you can use the shovel to chop people's heads off. It's surprisingly effective at both, but it's the person behind it and what they're using it for. So I say, why not take that tool? Why not take that tool out of their belt and use it against them? And that's ultimately what Political Blackout is going to be about. So if, far goal would be to be some version, something like a Rebel Media. We would have a Blackout UK, a Blackout AU, right? A Blackout US. But from now until then, let's just come up with skits, right? Let's do the website. Let's do some articles. Let's do some videos. Topical stuff lasts forever. And hopefully for the people that have been following us for the last, almost year now, you guys give us some ideas on what you would like to see, and we can go ahead and draft it up. There's no reason why we can't. Of course, apparel, things like that. And then maybe before you know it, maybe I'll be on Dave Rubin or something like that, or, Louder or Crowder. And, once we get there, then the sky's the limit, because those guys are doing amazing right now. Those guys are doing absolutely amazing. And seeing them kind of gives me a good feel about the future, because if there's a time to do something like this, the time is now. There's a wave building, and I'd rather not waste it. And as they say, the rising tide lifts all boats. So before it actually settles and comes back down, I'd like us to be able to jump on that wave and really ride that out to the future. PAX, David, good word usage. Pact. I have to like that. No, I'm not gonna like that. I'm gonna love that. Pact mentality. Okay. All right. From now on, take two. We're gonna reverse all that tribalism. Pact. There's now a pact. David, thank you for that. And thank you, Hennessy, Ginger Ale. Thank you for that too. Yeah, you're right. Stronger as a pact. So again, I know that this video, I'm going to keep this video up. It's going to stay on the list. So if anybody has any ideas, make sure to shoot them over to us. Again, just to let you guys know, the platforms we're on right now, we currently have the Facebook. We do have the donation thing set up on Facebook. We do have a cafe press that does have the two types of shirts and logos that we have. We have the minds.com account, which is a rival to Twitter. Very, very nice. If you don't have it, I highly recommend signing up for it. We do have the YouTube channel, and we do have the website, www.politicalblackout.com. We do plan to try to finally start putting out more content, but I do need some people to help out. I may have bitten off more than I can chew by open up so much at such a short period of time, and then trying to manage all of it at the same time while still trying to live a normal day-to-day life. So if anybody's actually interested in joining the team, you ain't gonna get paid nothing. We ain't got no money yet. We broke. We broke. But this takes off, then yeah, there is of course monetary gain in the future. Just right now, we're trying to get it off the ground, man. We're scraping by, but at the very least, I do see that there is a small movement forming, and there's no reason why we can't ride that wave. Like I said, we're almost at 1,000, and the page isn't even a year old. So I mean, there's no reason why at this point we can't make that multiply 2 or 3-fold. What, David? What? You said what? But any whoosies, guys, this last year, man, it's been great. I think we actually have something unique here. Yeah, man, broke AF. We broke. I mean, I got a job, but what I mean by broke is broke so much so that if somebody wanted to write for us, they ain't really gonna get much, right? You want to write an article and be like, oh, that's cool. You wrote an article for us. That's awesome. It's gonna help, build the team. And you're like, what am I gonna get paid for it? And be like, gratification. So hopefully we hit somebody that's just as interested in building this as we are from the ground up. So they too will be a part of that when such cash flows do come. They too will, also reap those benefits. Because like the pack, we're not interested in leaving anybody behind. So right now is that deciding factor, because we've had a good enough people that have followed us consistently for that, almost a year now. So I figure those people have a good idea of where they would like to see the direction of this go. So, I'm putting this out to them. If you're interested, let us know. Give us some ideas, and we will really start to look into that. I finally got my main PCs back up. So right now I'm looking at this, I'm using this XSplit software. I think it's actually working okay for right now. I think that's where we're going to go in the future. But, hopefully and very, very soon, the next thing you should start seeing us doing is an introduction series where I start to interview and introduce the team that we currently have on staff. Let them kind of say their piece, rinse and repeat. Of course, that'll be nice content. Hopefully start to get us some more views, YouTube, Facebook, things like that. And then hopefully before you know it, by the end of this year, 2018, we might be looking at something completely different. And just to give you guys an example of how quickly this stuff can go, none of this is released yet, but I got a request to speak at a high school class, and I took it. I was really surprised that I got this chance, and the topic was about race and the media's role in race. Interesting topic to do, but it was for a 12th grade class. And so clearly there's an impact there. There's clearly something there. So now it's just trying to find ways or a medium to kind of find our niche and slide in there. And clearly I think, again, we're going back to the unicorn metaphor. Our niche is that we do have a good number of women and minorities, so we can kind of play against the progressive stack. I mean, right now we even have someone that follows us that I call our trainee in chief. I plan to make use of every single tool that at the very least that I don't find abhorrent of the left against them. There's no reason not to. So if the pack mentality works, the pack mentality is what they're going to get. And the only difference is we're going to be savages about it. The war started. The wave's building. The rising tide lifts all ships. So if you want to bring your ship on this ride, guys, let's go ahead and make it happen. We've already been on for about a good 30 minutes. Again, this video's staying up. If you have any ideas, make sure to shoot them our way. Again, it's your boy, Ernest, a.k.a. True Wendigo with Political Blackout. As usual, guys, it's been fun. I'm going to go back to finishing my drink. I'll catch you cool cats on the flip side. Send us messages, comments, questions, concerns, and this is Political Blackout. We out.